what makes something right and wrong. Then we look at moral dilemmas, in which we look at different situations where we try to choose between right and wrong. And then we sum up everything with what is known as the principle of double effect. To begin, I have a question for you. What do we mean, first of all, we go back to those things we did. What do we mean by ethics? What do we understand when we say ethics? What do you understand? What do you think ethics is?
Anyway, just to give an answer on this question, ethics, these are the principles or guidelines that we have in the society that help us to live with others in harmony.
So, William says there are principles or guidelines that guide society or society's behavior. Okay. Now, once we talk about that, it brings us to the question of right and wrong. What determines what is right and wrong? We can take different aspects. For example, what determines what is right and wrong in the society or in the community?
Yeah.
Yes.
What determines what is right and wrong? Sometimes it can be culture.
Culture. We can say culture. An example.
Like in here is an example.
Yes.
Like when greeting others, you have to kneel. You have to kneel. But when you go to the rest of the culture, you find that it is considered to be like something useless. So when you kneel down, to them it looks like a punishment.
Okay, thank you. What else do you think determines culture?
Determines culture.
Or determines what is right and wrong?
Yeah, usually what determines what is right and wrong are the rules which are set in the society.
So we have also rules which can extend to what? Constitution.
Yes.
Constitution. What else determines what is right?
I think it can also involve our conscience.
Our conscience. Conscience. I hope everyone understands what we mean by conscience, isn't it?
Yes.
Our conscience. Now, for example, what can we say determines what is right and wrong at home? We have moved from the society, we go to the house, for example.
So I think it's not much different from the society because when you get then we get into our homes, we have the rules what we follow in our houses or in our homes. You find that we have parents there. The parents will say, my children or my child are not supposed to do this. So those things will help us now to be like, okay, if I go beyond this, it will be wrong or it will be right. Yes.
Okay. Then we can extend from the house to the society. We can go even what determines what is right and wrong, for example, in our churches. It could be doctrines. Church doctrines, for example, church doctrines. Summary to be, this will still run to God, isn't it?
Yes.
To God and His commandments.
Also the commandments, yeah, as you have put it.
Now, what helps us to choose what is right and what is wrong? What helps people to choose what is right and what is wrong?
Times it could be our conviction.
Our convictions. So when we say choosing, what is right and wrong? We are saying our convictions. What else? Sanctions. So sanctions or penalties. What else?
Even peace.
those who choose peace over violence. Now, here, all these actually, they are just summarizing what we deal with when we are dealing with morality. Now, the other aspect that comes in is when we are choosing what is right and wrong. Sometimes we think it is very easy to choose, but there is what we call a moral dilemma, where we are forced to choose between one thing over the other. Who can describe what is your understanding of the moral dilemma?
A moral dilemma is a scenario whereby you are given maybe a situation. You are supposed to decide if it is to choose A or to choose B. Then you are in between. You are not sure of what to do. I'm sure that's what I can say about moral dilemma.
So here we can say it is a situation where you must choose between two equal alternatives. Now here is a situation which I would like us to discuss. So here is the situation of the driver. So this driver, as he's driving, speeding, he discovers there is a group of school children. There are 5 of them. They are trying to cross this side. Then, this side, there is a bus that is coming. It has lost control. Now, immediately he needs to choose. If he is to save these boys, he has to hit this bus, which is full of people. But if he is to save these guys in the bus, there is no other alternative. He has to hit these school kids. Now, this question. If you are the driver, what would you choose?
Yeah, again on that one, then we have to consider between the two situations. Again, we go to deontology and vegetarianism, where you need to choose now what is good in itself, and also you look at the outcome or people who benefit when you do an action. So let's take for instance that scenario whereby you find a lot of people who are there. So imagine maybe you hit all of them. How many people are going to cry? Again, if you look at maybe you are just alone in the bus, it's burning you in your vehicle, in your car. It's better you die alone than killing these other people.
Now, what is there is this. You have these children. They are passing this side. There is this bus coming. You are driving, you are the driver.
Yes.
You have only 2 options.
In that bus, are there people?
There are people. It is full. It's full. So let's say it is having about 28 people. And here you are having these children, they are about 10 of them. This side.
That is where
Now you are forced to make an immediate decision. What do you choose?
that is where now the rule of lesser evil could apply, because you realize that there are quite a number of people in your bus, and you cannot sacrifice all those people who are in your bus just for those few children who are passing. So you could go for those, even though it entails that it will mean that there will be a sort of death, but go for a lesser evil. Go for those who are few and save who are many.
So in this Fukawa, so what he's trying to say is that if you go over the children to save those in the bus, and your judgment is based on the fact that those in the bus are more than the 10 children, isn't it? What about others? Would you go with what he said? Would you follow what he said?
Of course, but it is indeed a dilemma.
But you have to choose one. What would you choose?
Yeah, so you choose for the lesser one, of
So
course.
in this category, the lesser becomes the
The alternative.
okay. So how is our analysis of the lesser? Because I would ask another question. In this category, we have put these children, the 10 of them, as the lesser. And then the ones in the bus as more, isn't it? Now, these 10 children, we can say maybe for some families they are the breadwinners, isn't it? Then we don't know the category of the people in the bus. We can talk about maybe they are old women who are about to finish their age. So in this category, what determines the lesser evil? Is it the quantity or the quality?
I guess that's the reason my brother here thought of talking about the ontology and the ontology. Because in this case, you not focus much on the potential of those people that you've caused a problem or death. But you look at the number of people who you are carrying, maybe who can even be more than those that you have hit.
So in this case, what has determined the lesser evil is the quantity.
Yes.
The immediate quantity becomes our standard for what we follow. These are more, these are few. On the other hand, some people would argue over quality. Because they may say, okay, these are the women who are coming from church, they are coming to child. And then they are at the end of their life. Also, we have these boys who are the Lord's producer. Which life would you consider quality or not? That would be the other argument for the other people. Most others may say maybe these same old women are keeping orphans. So, our standard here is the quantity over quality. Why, in such a quick situation, quantity becomes a better choice than quality? In such a situation, you have to make an immediate decision. Why is quantity becoming a better option than quality?
The reason is very simple. Quantity there, because let's say for instance, the people you are carrying their name, and you don't know the people they are helping. And when you look at like the scenario which we have been given, those are still young. Their responsibilities cannot be compared to those people who are old. You kill them, of course, you are going to lose life. But these people you have reserved their lives, meaning they are going to, to continue with maybe their responsibilities, which is like quality is actually becoming lesser than quantity. I hope you get the point.
Okay. So in short, maybe we can say that for you to analyze the quality, we have to take more time. Because you may have to analyze each individual, isn't it?
Yes.
But then this is a decision you have to make within seconds. And what becomes more would be, you look at the number, isn't it?
Yes.
But still at the end of the day, it is a dilemma. But this dilemma pushes us to the other point that I talked about. Here, one dilemma is you are finding it difficult to make a choice. It leads us to the other topic I mentioned to you where I said, now look at the principle of double effect. What do you understand by the principle of double effect?
Okay, anyway, just to try, the principle of double effect. This is a situation whereby you are given a scenario like the one of the given, then you start now analyzing the effects which will come out of the outcomes. When you do this, this is what will come. When you go to the other point again, this is what will be there. So I think that's how I can explain about the principle of double effect.
Okay. Others, what do you think the principle of double effect is? So like what William was saying, where we have one action having two conflicting effects. So, if you remember very well in philosophy, there is what we call cause and effect. So, effect becomes the product of the cause, isn't it?
Yes.
So here the principle of double effect, like he's putting it, is where an action produces two effects. We won't use the same scenario. I give another scenario. Here is a situation where you are a married man. Your wife is pregnant. As she's going for labor, the doctor says, here, no matter what we do, only one can be saved. It's either we save the mother or the child. This labor, we can't save both. It's either we may even lose both, but choose as a husband. Choose one between the mother and the child. In short, when we carry on this pregnancy, when we move with it, only one will survive. It's either we terminate the pregnancy, or if we deliver the child, the mother dies. So there are two effects here. Two conflicting effects, you have to choose one. So in this case, only one effect has to be chosen. The mother dies, or the child dies. Only one survives. You are the husband. What would you choose and why?
First one I would go, we decided to terminate the pregnancy because the life of that child, of course, in as much as we understand that life begins at conception, but that child has not yet born. So meaning if we terminate the pregnancy, I have another chance to have another baby. But let's say, for instance, I decide to kill my wife. How sure am I going? How am I going to be sure that this child is going to grow up without the parental care from the mother? So, personally, I can go for terminating the pregnancy.
Okay. What about you? So I want to agree with what you are saying. What you should put in mind when making such a decision, you know that when your decision, it should be either good or neutral, not evil.
Mm-hmm.
So what's at stake here? When you say you kill you can make the baby, morally it is considered evil.
According to where you are standing, you can say it's a concept to be evil, but if we put the issue of utilitarianism, we are looking at issues, how many people are going to benefit from that act. Let's, for instance, we say, okay, we kill the mother. You remain with a baby. Are you sure that baby is going to grow without being breastfed by the mother? You are not sure of that. But if we decide to say, let's kill the baby, I'm sure that if this mother gets well, I'm going to harm her again and have another child. Yes.
If you are the one defending the baby, what would you tell them?
But I think we shouldn't go away from the concept of this double effect. Because when you look at this, its definition, of course you've already highlighted, it could mean that you can do any harmful consequence but with good intentions. Okay? So whatever that you can do, but as long as it is producing something that you would recognize to be good, it is okay. So in the case that you are trying maybe to support one answer and neglect the other, if what you are supporting is producing something that is coming out of your good intention, then it will be necessary, or it will be rather good. Yeah, because when you look at the issue of neglecting one and accepting the other, you realize that even if you neglect the mother, maybe the mother dies, who knows? Maybe someone else might keep that child. Okay, an example, okay, away from philosophy. When we give an example of what happened in the Bible, the story of Moses, you realize that when that child was neglected, who did they give to keep that child? Someone, a woman, of course, for that matter. And that one showed that parental care to that kind of a child. Okay? Until until he grew up. Same applies to the concept that my brother there was bringing out. If you support the fact that you terminate the child, of course there will be another potential, or there will be other potentials that you might have another child, of course, but I can disagree with that somehow, because when you look at that, the cause of that termination is as a result of what? Complications. Yeah, complications. So that would entail that even if you do what? You terminate that child, then it means it is the end of what? Everything to that kind of a person. I don't know if that there can be a possibility that the very mother could have another child.
Okay, my answer which I gave, I was trying to look at something which is going to produce more good than bad. When you look at it, you have never seen that baby. And you have been always seeing your wife each and every day. Which one is going to cause you more pain if one is taken between the two?
It will be sacrificing that mother, because you've spent your entire relationship with that person and not the child whom you haven't seen. That is,
how can you sacrifice with someone whom you have stayed with? You that side is okay. Let this person die whom have stayed with you. Then you spare the one whom you have not even seen. Do you think it is very possible to do that?
it is better to remain with that
What you have not
that kind of a thing that you have been seeing all along, and let that which you have been seeing. How can you sell a car?
I think you are getting this.
Yes.
If you say that you killed the mother, right? And you choose the mother over the child. In similar circumstances, you can say, I personally want to get it, but I've never married before. I can choose the baby because there is always another chance of marrying again.
Now, you look at the principle of double entry. What is there is that you have to choose. The intention should be the good. You see, the bad should be unintended. But in this case, we are talking about two goods. So we are combining now moral dilemma with the principle of double effect. Are you seeing? Because already this one is a dilemma. But then, when the two seem to be more important, we have to go for the lesser evil. Now, in this case, what determines the lesser evil?
So before you go anywhere, you've mentioned in your definition that you have to choose something out of that good intention. Now, what do you mean by good? Because between the two, according to the scenario you highlighted, it could mean that there can never be something that you can point to be good. Maybe if you highlight more on what it means by good.
The child is good. This is life. The mother is good. This is also life. So now, which good are you choosing? Because when you choose this good, an evil is produced. I don't understand you. I have chosen this good, the wife. By choosing this good wife, there is an evil produced. The child is dying. Now, your intention as you choose has to be good. Then the bad comes as an effect. But that bad should be lesser evil. For example, if I chose this good, the lesser evil, you see, is neglecting this good, but it is a lesser evil compared to this. But the intention is to choose the good. I don't know if you get it there. I'll give an example. You say, I'm choosing the mother because this mother is the only one working. I don't work. She's the breadwinner of the family and she's taking care of all these people. The child is very good. But in this case, I'm considering it lesser evil because when this mother dies, this is an example, who takes care of the whole family and all these people? I understand what I mean by choosing the good, but still what you are neglecting becomes the lesser evil. That's an example, you understand it? So now, how do we determine the lesser evil? This is where the principle of double effect really pushes in a lot. And as you have argued, as we go to the end of the lesson, I'll give you some work to do so that on your own, you can now look at what determines something to be the lesser evil. Because even in the principle of double effect, there are things we have to justify that this is truly the lesser evil. If you look at where we started from, we started by looking at what is right, isn't it?
Yes.
And we explained what ethics and morality is, and we looked at what is right and what determines right in a society, in a house, and in these places. Then we moved to moral dilemma by looking at that incidence of the driver having to choose. Then we have moved to combine moral dilemma to talk about now principle of double effect. And then your assignment will be this. The same scenario I gave you. So let's write it properly. This is your assignment. So using the scenario that I gave you, and so choose one action and justify it by listing the standards that determines something as lesser evil. So here we are saying, using the scenario that I gave you, the one we have decided, we discussed, can you choose one action from that moral dilemma and justify it by listing the standards that determine something as lesser evil? Because at the end of the day, if we are choosing one evil, they are all evils. But why is this one lesser evil? Give the standards and justify your answer. So in this one, you'll be forced to go and do some research, especially on the principle of double effect as aligned by Thomas Aquinas. That you may find in his book 5 of the Summa Theologica. There he talks about the principle of double effect. Is there any question before we can conclude? So for this assignment, I expect it in the next 5 days. So we have 5 days to research, choose, justify, and you write 2 pages about this. So thank you very much, and we meet again tomorrow, where we are going to continue on the principle of double effect, and then we are going to introduce also what Aristotle and Augustine says. Then we finish with Alasdair MacIntyre, where we have to look at his book on after ethics. So thank you very much.